Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz, February 18, 2015, 12:51 a.m. Birmingham, Alabama. Topic: destruction of Egypt. And we'll talk about that. To start with, you know that 21 Egyptian Christians were kidnapped from Libya, and ISIS beheaded all of them and filmed it proudly on TV and aired it throughout the world. And they also said, Rome, you're next. And they've been saying that to the Jews and to Americans for a long time too. You're next. But in any case, this particular event may have triggered something. It may have actually triggered when they ousted Mubarak, but it speaks of the destruction, the terrorizing of the Middle East by the Muslims. Talks about that in chapter 29. And also it talks about the genocide that goes on in the Middle East around Egypt, around these countries, these states. Something's going to happen bad. And I believe it will be just like my blog said 2.5 years ago, that the Aswan High Dam is going to be hit by a bomb. Let me clarify myself. There's two dams in Egypt, the Aswan Low and the Aswan High. And above the high, there's a tower that Russia installed called the Tower of Syene. Syene means key or opening. And when Russia put that tower up, I don't believe that they opened up the Bible and read Ezekiel 29 and saw the name Syene there and said, well, we better name it Syene. But it speaks of Syene in the Bible. But anyway, Egypt has never been under a 40-year judgment. And apparently God promises them a 40-year judgment. But since it's in Ezekiel, it's in the latter days, the last of the end days. And also, and you go over to Isaiah 17, it speaks of the destruction of Damascus. The blogs I did described Egypt and Damascus, the oldest inhabited city on earth, being destroyed and never will be used again. Never. Egypt will be laid waste for 40 years, and then the people will return. Where are they going for 40 years? Where are all those displaced in Syria going for a length of time? I think I know. I think the UN will divide them up, and I think that the United States will probably get the lion's share of them. We could have between 30 and 50 million Muslims coming here this year. And the reason I say this year is there's a lot of things happening this year. Bad things. Judgments upon not only the nations that came against Israel, but upon the United States. And I'll describe what I'm telling you here. You have the 4 blood moons all falling on feast days with a solar eclipse in the middle of them. It's a tetrad. The first 2 blood moons was kind of against Israel because they were being shot at over and over and over by Hamas thousands of times. But God tells Israel to be silent. I'll fight for you. Well, every now and then Israel will shoot one back, but Israel's bombs, missiles, all hit their targets when little, if any, hit their targets that were shot from Hamas. And then, here you go. You have a Harbinger. This comes up on September 11th. But instead of going there like right now, let's go to March the 20th this year, 2015. What is that? That is the solar eclipse. That is the eclipse between the 4 blood moons on feast days, means judgment upon the nations that came against his people, God's people. And we are one of those nations. And then we have the Harbinger, which our president spoke 1 year ago on September the 10th. When the 11th gets here, I believe that we're going to crash and burn. And I believe by the 13th, it'll be over. I also believe the unrest in the Middle East is going to explode. I believe that Egypt can very well have a nuke to hit the Aswan High Dam. I believe Damascus will be knocked off the map. I believe all those people will be dispersed. And in fact, I know they'll be dispersed. And maybe this is why Obama is keeping his mouth shut. I don't know, but he's a gutless wonder. But a lot, it looks like, is going to happen. Now, Avi Lipkin, Lipkin, he's a Christian Jew. He did a blog on January 2014 talking about the destruction of Egypt for 40 years. And I didn't see that until today. But I did my blogs 2.5 years ago talking about the same thing. And he is picking the very specific time period, and he's got all the verses laid out there. It'd be a good read or a good listen to if you want to go there. Avi Lipkin, Destruction of Egypt, and the date of his blog was January 2014. And he said that day may have arrived. Look, genocide is going on all over the Middle East and all over northern Africa down to Central Africa. Yemen, as you know, their leader had been taken out, and now you have the Houdinis in there, the Houthis, and they're going to march up Saudi Arabia, and they're going to go in and they're going to destroy that black stone. The Sunnis are going to be kicked out completely. That's my opinion. And I believe that's a lot of other people think the same way. And so you have the Sunnis and the Shiites, and the Shiites are going to come out on top. And but that won't last long. Why? Because Israel still got a fight left here, folks. Ezekiel 38:39. 5 out of 6 of those who came against my people, against Israel, will die on the mountains around Israel. And it will take Israel 7 months to bury the dead and 7 years to burn the weapons. All this timing is dead on now. Get ready. You're going to have a year that's going to explode your head, but God will still take care of you if you let him, if you call upon Jesus. We need him, folks. I do. I have him, and I'm not going to let go. But I believe you're seeing all these things come to pass right now before your eyes. Jody Wolf, Expoz.